right, front to back. All right. A lot of campsites are mostly level nowadays. Depends on what kind of camping you guys are planning on doing with this. A lot of boondock camping, a lot of primitive camping, or do you plan on only being at campsites all the time?
Usually campsites.
All right, most of those are paved, so most of them are going to be fairly level, not all. One thing my grandfather did was took like a 2x12. All right, cut the first one pretty long, cut the next one a little bit shorter, and a little bit shorter, and kind of made himself a set of steps to be able to drive up on with the front tires. So he could kind of kick himself how he needed. He would also, when I would level trailers, okay, this is where on the campsite I want it. This back tire needs to come up a little bit. I would set the block like right here, pull forward, and once I pull forward enough, slide the block in so I know the camper. I go back to kind of the parking spot where I wanted it to be parked at. You know, this way I'm close to the picnic table on that side or whatever, you know, I wanted to do. But get yourself level first, okay? The leveler you are, the better off you are with everything inside, okay? Things don't roll across counters, you know, that kind of stuff like that. Refrigerator runs more efficient too, the more level you are. That being said, you can plug this in at home. You can take an adapter that will adapt you down from this 30 amp plug to a normal 15 amp wall outlet at home. Do not run your air conditioner, okay? Once you're adapted down that far, you'll start tripping the breaker in the house, okay? The air conditioner is usually like on a 20 amp breaker, so you'll start tripping the house before you start tripping in here. But it's good to charge the batteries, and it's good to run the refrigerator, lights, all that kind of stuff in there. But just air conditioner is a little too much for me, okay? You can run an extension cord out to it if you need to, but being directly plugged into the outlet is always best.
Okay.
And some people get 30 amp outlets put in next to their house if you're keeping this near your house.
I saw the adapters like $15, so I'll do that. Yeah.
I have one hanging on the wall in there that I have to plug you in because all of our plugs around here are 50 amp.
Okay. Yeah.
So we run. So that's another adapter that you want to look into, because sometimes you get to a campground late at night. You may only get told we only have a 50 amp site available. Okay, so you want to be able to plug into it. You don't want to have to worry about not having that adapter in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
But it just goes, which I have one. Like I said, I got to plug you into one anyway. So I'll show you what the 50 amp one looks like. This just lines up.
Yep.
It kind of like a 16th of a turn, locks in place.
Okay.
And then it does have the collar that you just tighten on up. This here mine's adapted now, so I can my speaker. All right, but this is a 50 amp to 30 amp for you.
So we're pulling 50 and it'll prevent 20 from going in there.
No. This is 50 amp. This will adapt it down to that 30 amp.
Yeah,
plug
like
style.
reducing.
It's not reducing any of the power.
Okay.
It's just adapting you down to the same
Yeah.
plug.
Gotcha.
Now they do make surge protectors.
I have one.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and honestly, I've been doing this 13 years. I have seen more problems with the campground being wired wrong than I have this thing getting smacked by lightning.
That's why I got it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
campgrounds being wired wrong is usually a big problem.
And I'm forgetting my circuit breaker, but it would hook into
Correct.
here, and then this hooks into it, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I
you
thought.
would if you had to adapt like this down from a 50 to 30. I would take it apart and I would put, this is where I put the surge protector. Because you buy it for this 30 amp plug.
Got it.
Even if there's a problem with this adapter, it will tell you.
Okay.
Because I have seen these adapters go bad. and
Yeah.
cause problems.
Okay.
You'll lose power inside or lose a ground inside or something.
Okay.
Because I have seen these adapters go bad.
Okay.
Sometimes when we have electrical problems, I will even go digging for your adapters in your camper, and I will test with your
Sure they're working
adapters
appropriately.
just to make sure we're testing through everything.
Right.
But
Are you?
one thing I did kind of
Right over there.
One thing I did kind of overlook here while we were talking about leveling. Once you're level, you have these two rear stabilizing jacks, 3/4 inch nuts on them. There should be a handle in here, which we'll look for as we go through the unit, to manually crank them down.
Okay. You can also do it from the control center, right?
If they may be, but I just seen the manual cranks on them right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but the manual crank, you can also use a drill.
Yeah.
So if you
Socket
carry a
socket.
drill and a socket set on you,
Yep.
3/4 inch socket on that drill will do that too as well. So
Perfect.
this way you're not.
And they're
Yeah.
just for stabilizing. Like you're not going to put a bunch of weight on them.
That's why
You're
I was
just
telling you
keeping
to
it from
level
bouncing,
with
basically.
blocks first underneath the tires. That's why I was saying they even make Lego blocks.
I have
Yeah,
them.
we've seen.
I have them.
Just make sure they're the heavy ones
Strong enough to
because
do that.
It'll break them.
yes,
Okay.
it is heavy. It does not hurt to put them underneath the rear jacks themselves too as well. Don't go stacking them this high to get to the jacks or anything, but it will help disperse the load with them and everything like that
Okay.
as well. Especially if you're into soft ground. Now, if you're on asphalt or something like that, don't worry about it. Gravel, it will keep them from shifting around a little bit when you're on gravel like this. Not that you should have a big problem with that, but anything you can help to minimize it, you do. It's everything with leveling. Now that you're level, we can go ahead inside and we can go deep in things. Where I know we're not 100% level here, but
Why do you say we're level?
my point is
Once you're level,
You're pretending.
once you're down,
Okay.
done doing your leveling situation, you got plugged in outside.
Okay.
here. Everything inside here will pretty much run off the battery. But once you come inside, you got your touch screen in here. Jack 1, Jack 2. So yes.
So that doesn't level us. That just puts the stabilizers down. Nothing's moving under there. Oh.
J1, J2. Highlight J1. Extend. And you kind of hear it change town. Hear it. Jack 2. Oops, sorry, I hit the mute button.
I was putting the on here.
Yeah, the other side. Feel it.
Yeah, I could feel it. Mhm.
Slide S1 and extend. Oh, sorry. This. Gotta put your
Do you have to be
Okay. Vehicle running, parking brake set.
okay? What is the alarm?
He said the jacks are down, so in other words,
Yeah, it's-
pick your jacks up before you.
Scream at
Oh,
to
before
put
you
the
drive
jacks-
anywhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
When does it go off?
When you put the jacks up.
But our jacks are going to be down. If I'm parking at a thing, they go down.
Oh yeah.
Once you're settled, they say.
Then I turn off the ignition.
Yeah. Right. Right
Okay.
now, the only time you hear that
Okay.
when you turn the key on.
Okay. Okay.
This way it warns you something is wrong.
Dry, yeah.
Okay.
You're not driving anywhere.
All right, so
Come back.
that went through S1 off. I can't remember what PA's for. I can't remember. I had to look it up once and I don't remember now.
Is
then you
there a
got-
manual in that in our
Yes.
bag? Okay.
Yeah, you should have. Did you get that yet?
Yeah.
Okay. You went up through finance. They gave you the bag and everything.
We just got it like 10 minutes ago.
Susan just
Oh,
brought us the
okay.
bag. It's got
Have
all
you
the
been up
manuals
through
and stuff in
finance yet?
We
Like
were
to
there
pay
the
for
other
it?
day.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
ours.
All right. Well, usually they give it to you when you went through
Just-
there, so I wanted
just
to make
trust
sure.
us. No.
Oh no!
We
No.
promise.
Hey, look, if you leave without paying for it, that's on
It's
sale.
not your issue, right?
I'm here to show you how to use it.
Sorry, can I step out? Because we had an issue with this the other day. I want to make sure it's.
The bolts?
The bolts are
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah, I put new bolts in.
Okay.
So you just hit it once and it'll go all the way out.
Yep, and you tap it again. It'll go straight to hollow. Just a in one and retracts. I wasn't aware you had an issue with it other than the bolts.
That was
Of the awning?
Yeah,
That
it
was the awning
balance.
issue, yeah.
Cracking and stuff.
Oh,
And we saw
they
some
creak.
bolts on the
You ought to
side.
hear mine when it goes out,
Oh.
when it's out, when it's
Well,
windy.
this one did more than creak because that whole thing was like moving.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why I was like, put it back in. So do you put silicone around the bolts?
behind the plate.
Behind the plate. Okay.
So that left and right that you hit to activate everything is for your slider,
That's
your
just to
jacks.
select. Jack one, yep, that cycles
Jack
through
two.
everything.
A
You
is-
can, and the off turns is like a master off to shut all your lights off at once.
Okay.
Because you can go through and just click 1, 2, 3, 4, and it turns on the different lights throughout the evening.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This monitoring panel too, as well, as you see, it shows your tanks, how much water you have in your freshwater tank, how much water is in your black and your gray water tanks. This way you can monitor them throughout the camping weekend, because you do want those tanks to fill up. Your black and your gray.
Yeah.
You have a sewage hookup at the campground, yes, but you do not want.
Don't leave them dry the whole time.
Exactly. You want them to fill up, because what ends up happening, you use the toilet, the solid waste in the paper sticks to the tank as the water runs out.
I see. It gets
and
dry.
it just starts turning into a pyramid in
Ew.
there.
Okay.
So you want to treat it more like a septic tank. You
Yeah.
want it to fill up.
Okay.
Okay. You
Okay.
want, this way when you pull that handle, everything gets pulled out.
Gotcha.
Now this does have a flush system on it, so you can hook up, and it's got a sprayer in the tank.
Is it the Saniflush?
Yeah, something weird like one of those.
Okay.
And it's
They
just a
got
regular-
different companies have different names.
It's just a regular hose hookup, right?
Yes, and it's a sanitary connection, so you can use your drinking water hose for it.
No.
Okay, so essentially what happens is you hook your hose up to it. It comes up, the water comes up to somewhere in the wall, a cabinet, something. It's got a vacuum breaker. All right, so then the water passes through the vacuum breaker back down to the under the tank underneath the floor, sprays everything out. When you shut the water off and it loses pressure, the vacuum breaker opens. Any water heading towards the tank keeps going to the tank. Anything that was before the vacuum breaker comes back out the side of the camper. So it always keeps it a sanitary connection. So this way you only have to use one hose. Some people still
Some people say,
bothered by it,
"Eh."
and they get a Y splitter. They get a Y,
Okay.
and they hook up another hose, or they carry a complete separate hose,
Yeah.
or they do. Have you seen the 90 degrees coming off the side of the campers yet?
Mm-mm.
You will see them, and I am a fan of them. Okay, they're a brass, and I don't want to say they're brass. Yes, they're brass. All right, because copper you can't drink out of, isn't it? Or do I got that backwards? I mean, whatever it is.
You
that
can
it's
tell me
the
anything and it's okay.
but anyways, they got the 90, and what it does is instead of the hose being hooked directly to the side of the
Pulling
camper,
on the threads all the time.
pulling
and stuff.
down like this,
Mhm.
it puts a 90 on it and lets everything pull down nicely. I am a fan of those 90s. I think they do a great job in stopping you from tearing up city water connections so much. Okay, still going to happen at some point. You can also get an inline water filter. All right, and if you use one of those are quite heavy, and it is nice to have that hanging straight down versus outwards and down. So-
And that's all you're talking about off the water pump.
yeah,
not
off the
truck.
water, off the city water
Yeah.
connection. No, we haven't even touched on the water pump
Okay.
itself yet. The
Okay.
water pump is an enclosed system.
Okay.
So you, in order to use that, you would have to fill that tank up. So you could fill that tank up off water at home.
Yep.
So you have good water at home, you know it, you fill that water system up on board, and while you're driving down the road, camping for that weekend, you turn on, is it in this touch panel here? Yep, right here, water pump. You turn on that water pump, and you hear it running right now. There's no water in the tank. Tank's empty. But that water pump runs, pulls water up out of the tank that you filled up at home, and brings it out to all the faucets, the toilet, the shower, and everything.
Okay.
You can leave that water pump, when you have that tank full, you can leave that water pump switch on while you are camping the entire weekend. Once you shut the faucet off, the pump builds pressure, it shuts off, and waits till the next time you turn on a faucet before it runs again. So you don't have to worry about shutting it off.
Okay.
All right. But the only time you need to run that is when you are primitive camping, or you stop at a truck stop and you want to use the water that you put in here. If you're not carrying any water, you won't ever play with that switch.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you're going relatively close trips to home, you know, that kind of stuff, or you're going to campgrounds every 6 hours, 8 hours, you know, you're only driving 6-8 hours, stopping at the next place, whatever the case may be, and you'll have water again, you may never even use that thing. So it just depends on you guys and how you determine to use this thing. Up here in this touch panel too, as you see, you have an electric hot water heater and a gas hot water heater. You can run them both. I always suggest, if you're going to campgrounds and you've already paid for the camping spot, use the electric to save your propane. Why bother?
And are they like on demand, or do I, like, let's say I want to get a shower?
You have a 10-gallon hot water heater that you do have to let heat up like a hot water heater at home. Yes. I live in a camper out back with a 10-gallon hot water heater, and I have no problem taking a good hot shower in there and doing what I need to do before I run out of hot water.
With what, 10 minutes?
No, I could probably, if you run it the right way, you could probably get 20 minutes out of it.
And
Maybe more. Just a little bit of hot and using the cold for your pressure and finding that sweet spot, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It'll be a live and learn kind of situation. Now, in all honesty, if you decide you want to upgrade the system in this, I have put Insta-Hot hot water heaters in these things, where it's an on-demand. You have endless hot water. Your only downside then is tank capacity, like how much fresh water you have on board, and how much propane. Because then it makes it a propane-only system. It does not make it an electric system.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the only downside. It becomes propane-only at that point.
And right now, if we're hooked up to city water, we can still use the.
You can use gas or
Doesn't
electric
matter.
if you're hooked up to city. When you're primitive camping, say you're staying out on a beach, you only have the option of gas because you're not plugged into electric, so you don't have electric. But you do have the generator on board. So when you are running the generator, you could turn it on to electric. Because once you have the generator running, it's like being plugged into shore power. It will charge your batteries, your onboard batteries back up while the
generator
running.
will?
Yep.
Automatically?
Yeah. As soon as you start the generator, no, you have to start it. You do have to start the generator.
Good
I
point.
don't believe. Well, hold on. I'm wrong.
Okay.
I came to your power function here. You do have an auto gen start. Swipe to enter on gen start. But I don't know. It won't let me settings. There it is. You go under settings and you can control how your generator starts itself automatically. Alright, you can have it start off battery levels. Once the battery drops below 11.5 volts, the cutoff will be 13.3. It will run for 20 minutes. Once it meets that goal, it will run a max of 2 hours. Start time, end time of your quiet time.
So it doesn't kick on overnight.
So if the campground tells you between 10 and 8 you cannot run generators, you can program that in. At 8:01 it'll fire itself up.
Okay.
All right. You can go to climate. You can have this thing fire off of the thermostats. That it gets too hot in here while you're at Disney World and this is sitting in the parking lot. It will automatically start the generator, turn the air conditioner on,
So if you got a button
cool
here,
this down. Exactly.
Okay.
And it will, so you can
Okay.
set all the parameters for that.